The enemy is all around us. A frightened world that looks at what we have achieved and dares not let it succeed. They have tried to starve us, but as a team, we have grown food enough for all. They have tried to hurt us, to cut off our medicines, but as a team, we have offered radical, compassionate solutions. And they have tried to scare us, to rob us of power and leave us in the dark. But as a team, we have lit a fire so bright that they will never quench it. We are at war with a brutal foreign enemy, against leaders who do not even treat their own people with the dignity and love that we have come to expect as standard. And if these leaders can sit idly by while their own people starve, well, whatever would they do to us should we lose? That is why it is vital that we pull together, that we encourage and educate our family, friends and neighbours so that they too embrace this new future. Because a team can only succeed when it pulls in the same direction. And while we certainly wouldn't call dissenting voices treasonous, we would raise an eyebrow at those who can't find it within themselves to show even a little team spirit. Advance.
Good evening. You know who we are.
Sanctuary for all and sundry. I've been living in an allegory ever since you made.
Well, before we join Megan Wolf and the team for tonight's National Nightly News, there's just time to take a peek at what's coming up later tonight on Channel 1. At 6:30, it's Ration Kitchen with Jordan Rankley. And tonight he'll be screaming at some pensioners while they try and fashion a nutritious meal out of a can of condensed milk, a cow's tongue, and some rhubarb. Not one to miss. At 7 p.m, it's a look back to happier times with part 8 of our acclaimed documentary series, The First 365, which looks at the astonishing progress made by Advance as we begin what is only their second year in office. At 8:30 p.m, it's over to Patrick Bannon for all the day's sports board highlights, including all the tabletop action from the semi-finals of Pro-Amateur Sports Board, the Sports Board Sports Board Game. At 9, it's our nightly war report from the late news team, followed at 9:25 by our unsettling play, When Katie Went Abroad, which tells the cautionary tale of one brave young lady's battles to survive the cruel administrations of our neighbours. At 11:25, it's Incisors. And tonight, Dr. Adrian Atkinson Blimey will be getting his teeth into Fiona from Hamble Bamblebury, who has invented a tasty twist on the humble biscuit. And that takes us, after the weather and public information film, into our close down. But first tonight, it's time to join Megan and the team for the National Nightly News.
Good evening, this is the National Nightly News. I'm Megan Wolf. It's the 140th day of war. Our main headlines tonight. Company of Heroes. Skirmishes on land and sea again today as our armed forces tested the mettle of the World Council's illegal blockade. Advance's strategy of multiple small-scale incursions into the disputed zone is certainly keeping the enemy on high alert, unable to work out where or when the next strike will come. Sadly, however, more casualties were reported today, and as the weeks and months of this war make ever more demands on our armed services, those numbers will, tragically, only continue to rise. Don't starve. Advance's food programme moved from strength to strength today as rationing depots were opened in the last remaining unfed areas of the territory. The rationing depots have been constructed in record time, and the government's agricultural coordination strategy has seen shelves restocked with increasing regularity. However, with a reported rise in mental and physical health issues since the imposition of the blockade, critics have questioned whether those smaller communities which are only now starting to receive help could have been better and quicker served. 7 days to die. The recent decision to allow those with long-term health conditions to access transition centres has today been declared an overwhelming success. Previously available only to those in their final years, the expansion of the service has been met with relief by the many organisations calling for it to be opened up to the wider community. Dwindling medical supplies leaving many of our most vulnerable facing chronic pain, it can come as no surprise that the transition centres have found themselves stretched to capacity. Populace. More than 11% of the population have thus far failed to register for a team membership card, a worrying statistic given that the cards are a legal requirement from midnight tonight. While applications are still open for those who like to run fashionably late, they can expect a few tricky questions from Street Fighting Man. Spokesman Alan James today announced that Disrupt were responsible for the 2 explosions which rocked the capital's warehouse district last night. Julia Salisbury condemned the attack on what she described as vital medical supplies as pointless and barbaric. 2 security guards from the warehouse complex were injured in the callous attack, which once again shows Disrupt's reckless disregard for human life. And finally, absent friends. Sad news today as the grave of former National Nightly News host Jeremy Donaldson is vandalised by radical Disrupt activists. The much-loved broadcaster suffered a very tragic public breakdown 10 weeks ago in an incident which ultimately cost him his life. Disrupt spokesman Alan James, whose organisation last week named Mr Donaldson as the cause's first martyr, described the graffiti as a fitting tribute to a hero of the resistance. But first this evening, with the war about to enter its 21st punishing week and people hurting up and down the country, I'll be grilling unpredictable Prime Minister Peter Clement in an exclusive interview from his home in Lancashire. That's
bugger that thing! Why is turn the fucking way out? Go!
I'm a little overexcited to announce I'll be interviewing the one and only Lil C. And later we've got a new feature that's sure to keep you coming back for more. But first tonight, let's check in with Prime Minister Peter Clement, who's speaking to us from his home in Lancashire. Good evening, Prime Minister. Have we caught you exercising?
Oh, have we started? Yes, that's right, Miss Wolf. Just a few minor adjustments. I mean, nothing drastic. I haven't joined the gym or anything. As my old man used to say, just because you won't take it up the shit, it doesn't mean you shouldn't try for a quick fiddle up the car park.
Language, Prime Minister.
What? Quick fiddle? What's wrong? Oh, shitter. It's shitter, isn't it? Yep, that's the one.
And can you tell us what brought about this new you?
Well, you know, Mrs. C and I were watching,
Disrupt
you know, the night
destroyed
the
a
blockade.
farmer-side storage facility in the warehouse district of the capital. You'll no doubt hear it described as
Well,
terrorism,
not, as I'm
but our
sure
intent
you all
was not
remember. And our a bit
thought. No one was killed in the operation, which destroyed both the warehouse and all its contents. But what were those contents? Drugs. Drugs used in transition centres. Drugs used to kill our elderly and now our sick as well. We know that this extermination cannot be easily stopped, but perhaps it can be slowed, or if you'll forgive me, disrupted. Pharmacide are owned by Advance, but then again isn't everything these days. Advance make the glossy TV adverts, the drugs, the transition centres, and the law. No government should have that much power. The power to choose the moment of your death belongs to no one, not even you. The freedom to die is a myth. The only freedom worth fighting for is the freedom to live without fear, in the way you choose. More and more of you are joining Disrupt every day, and with 1,000 tiny acts of resistance, we are stepping closer to the inevitable fall of Advance. Today it is a warehouse. One day soon, it will be the whole system.
The country is grounded.
And yet Julia Salisbury announced today that she'll be visiting Svenland during this year's winter break. Is that really an example of team spirit?
What? Did you know about it?
10 weeks ago, Jeremy Donaldson took control of the national nightly newsroom. He tried to warn us all about the now abandoned top-secret military lab at Grantham Downs. We may never know exactly what was being done there, but Jeremy Donaldson made us look. And this is just one of the reasons he is considered Disrupt's first martyr. And you know what? I think there's every chance he'd hate that. I only met him a few times in a professional context, and usually he exposed me for the grandstanding fool I was back then, but for some reason I always enjoyed it. I liked him. I liked his wit, his jagged edges, and most of all, I liked his total dedication to the truth. He died for that truth, died as an individual, for freedom. And by adorning his resting place with our colours and our emblem, we will help to keep both him and his spirit of relentlessness alive. Rest well, Jeremy. You will not be forgotten.
I've been watching you, and you know what? You get more like him every day.
I will take that as a compliment. Prime Minister, later on this evening, your co-leader Julia Salisbury is going to give a national address from team headquarters. Can you give us a hint of what she's going to say?
Yes. Well, I imagine that there
Sorry,
will be
you
the
imagine?
usual. No, what I mean is.
You do know about this broadcast, don't you, Prime Minister?
Well, I'm sure I did. But Julia and I have no secrets from each other. We don't memorize each other's bloody diaries either. As my old man used to say, if you wanted to get a job done quick, down in the pubes. What else you got?
Sorry?
Only cards, what else? A little piece of my life you want to rustle through? Get out, refill my glass. Sir, come on. Come on.
Okay. What music do you listen to when you work out?
Well, Gail tells me that I work out to Little C, but absolutely no fucking who that is. Do you think the C stands for...
It stands for collaborative, Prime Minister.
Yeah, actually, that does make more sense, actually.
How's rationing affecting you?
It's hard, but we get by. You just have to learn to get by on the basics. Take comfort in each other. I've got Mrs. C and many a fine single malt. I want for nothing. Except for a decent night's sleep, of course.
Prime Minister, thank you for joining us. When we come back, it's time for the...
A fucking ambush! Get on that phone now, right now, to that. Find out what that duplicitous bitch...
When my husband became CEO of Pleasurecore, I wondered what the advantages would be for me. Well, now I'm aboard the SS Fun Ship for a holiday so good I'm being paid to sing about it. If you could be me now out on a pleasure cruise, seeing several sights and drinking copious booze, I'd like my friends from work to take a good look at the cheapest hangover, cause you can book. All I can say is, hey, look now, this is the life. Just like the brochures say, you can't cheat on your wife. It's a high-class ocean ride. You can't afford it and it's fun since someone died. If you could be me now out on a foreign shore, down in every
to the ongoing military blockade, some destinations may differ from those pictured in this advertisement, as the cruise now mainly takes place around Sundbank.
Thanks for coming back. Later, we have an exciting new feature that we just know you're going to love, so stay tuned for that. But first, I'm really excited for our next guest. She rose to prominence as the delightful Susie May in All My Daughter's Children's Men, before taking the music industry by storm this year with her debut album smashing the chart records at the age of just 20. Let's give it up and welcome Lil C.
Put it in my age together, join the team and stay forever.
I just say, you look incredible.
Oh, thanks, babe. I'm doing this new regime and it really does work.
Ooh, what's the regime?
And my manager suggested it to me. It basically involves bathing in like cabbage water and then having the leaves sucked out of you while you sleep.
Wow, is that healthy?
Oh, well, look at me, Meg. The leaves are my only nourishment.
Yep, they certainly are. Now, you'll have to forgive me, but I'm somewhat of a super fan, so I'm sorry if I get a bit starstruck.
Oh, bless you. I've never actually heard of you before, so if you do get a little tongue-tied, I can always carry the interview.
Oh, that's good to know. So your first album, F My Face Together, it hit shelves this summer and it just exploded. I mean, what was that like for you?
Bonkers, just so weird. I was in all the papers and the magazines. Overnight, I went from that like annoying little girl from that show to that like sexy little girl from that show.
Wow, that must have been bizarre.
Not really, it was just like any other morning. You know, get up at 5, go on a 4-mile run, have 3 meetings on my cabbage bath, but then only then was my dad actually talking to me.
Oh, of course. I mean, the famed country singer, Billy Bob Jean Short. I didn't know you'd been estranged.
There's nothing that strange about it, Megan. Okay, yes, he may believe that aliens told him to hate women, but there really isn't anything to prove that he's wrong.
Uh-huh. So, this newfound explosion into your popularity, I mean, did that change your life?
Well, I had to start wearing like nicer underwear, you know, for the paparazzi, but as my manager says, best to make the most of it before I'm 30.
Is that right? So what's the album about?
So I thought it was about like how pretty and great I am, but actually it's about monetizing youth, I think, or about like promoting an unrealistic standard of beauty or something.
Your manager again.
Yeah, he says insecurity is an opportunity.
Oh, do you think he'd be happy with you telling us all this?
Telling you all what? It really doesn't matter what I say here. I'll do my dancing and then this part will all be forgotten about.
Oh. Well, yeah, I mean, we're going to see some of those famous dance moves very shortly because you're going to be performing your new single, aren't you?
Yeah, it's from my album Put It In My A Together and it's
My friend let her 13-year-old son join the Go-Getters. He's occupied now. Busy, even. His room's never been tidier. But he keeps notebooks he won't let her read. And sometimes she catches him staring at her.
Now, so girlies, you know what to do. Scream and cry until somebody gets it for you.
Ooh, there she goes. Blimey. All these projects, they're keeping you
like
very
it's been
busy.
prepared in advance. Or possibly by them.
I hate myself. I just want to like cry into a bath of root veg.
Will no longer tell us. And when we find out, we will tell you. We will hack into your news broadcasts. We will defend your right to information. We will resist, and we will disrupt.
You know, like better. But I don't know. I love doing autographs and having somebody dress me and tell me what to wear.
Did you always want to do music?
Well, ever since I was a little girl, I did. I'd sit in front of the radio, and as soon as my favourite girl group would come on, I'd press record on my cassette. But then my dad would come in and tell me to turn it off and to go back upstairs and start practising again.
Oh, sorry, is your dad your manager?
Yeah, which can be tough. And sometimes when it gets really hard, he'll say, "Make Quagler proud and you might just survive childbirth."
Well, you know what, despite anything, you'll make me proud.
Oh, if only your opinion was as valuable as his.
And on that problematic note, you're going to be singing your song for us soon, aren't you? Tell me about it,
So it's called These Babies Gonna Bring You Home, and I actually got sent the lyrics in the car on the way up here. But you know what, it's actually all right. And don't worry, all my work is team approved.
All right then, well, you can go and get ready for that. We'll see you in a little bit. It was a very specific type of pleasure to chat to her, and I just can't wait to hear this. Oh, so here is Lil C with an exclusive first performance of her new track, These Babies Gonna Bring You Home. Take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Force's favorite, the Queen of Teens, here to break in your blockades, Lil C.
Oh baby, can't you see I'm hungry? There's a place in me that's empty. I want that meat you're packing, only you can fill that crack in me. I'm under siege, so come and free me. Ain't no disruption here, boy, I got no agenda. Just want the team and me, no dirty foreign member. Don't stop no morning drill, there's holes in me that ain't been filled yet. I only scream this loud when you do your country proud. I ain't no vicar's daughter, come and skirmish on my border. Quick before I get much older, tie me down and pull me like an enemy soldier. An enemy soldier. So let them try and break our dream. We fight and love and die a team. So what if Peter Clemens boys can come and use me as a toy? I wanna see some action, so come and break my sanctions. I've been this wild and free since Mama burdened me. She was only 53, but gave to save her family. There's no one judging me if I'm the one that's in your fantasy. Don't die alone, these babies gonna bring you home. I ain't no vicar's daughter, come and skirmish on my border. Quick before I get much older, tie me down and pull me like an enemy soldier. An enemy soldier. So what if Peter Clemens boys can come and use me as a toy and flip me over, grab my hair, rip off my clothes and dump them there? I wanna see some action, so come and break my sanctions.
Well, if that doesn't distract you from the world outside, I don't know what will. I'd like to thank Lil C for doing that. Don't go anywhere. After the break, we'll finally be revealing the new segment of our show that we just know you're going to love. We'll be back right after this.
de Beauvoir. de Beauvoir. The dangerous new fragrance from Eye of the Beholder, formulated with all natural hydrogen sulfide. Eau de Beauvoir, because who cares?
Thanks for joining us for part 3. We've been teasing you about our new feature all night, and now the wait is finally over. I can reveal that every night on the show, we'll be treated to an episode of an informative and hilarious new segment called The Notice Board. It stars some top talent and we're very excited about it. But before we see it, let's have a quick chat with the writer, director and phenomenon, may I say, Jeff Algebra, guys.
Actually, I've dropped the algebra. I go by Jeff DePlume now. How'd you like that?
Well, yeah, very fancy. I suppose you need a new name now that you're a successful artiste.
Well, exactly. I'm earning enough to pay taxes now.
Oh. And how does Angela feel about all this?
Who?
Your wife.
Oh, God, no. No, she's long gone. No, she was holding me back. I'm with Norm now. We were married last month.
Norm de Plume.
Yeah.
And why did you write this? What was your inspiration?
Oh, well, I received a telephone call offering me 25 grand to write a pro-team sitcom. And I heard my father's voice. It said, Jeff, you listen here, boy. You make hay while the sun shines. You wring every penny you can get out of this. So I wheeled him down to the transition centre, got out my typewriter and started clacking.
Wow.
Oh,
And without further ado, let's give it up for the notice board.
Good morning, Miss Craven.
Oh, morning, Ray.
Everything all right, Mrs. Craven? You look as worried as the vicar in closing time.
Oh, Ray, it's those young louts. They've vandalised my shop again.
No!
Yes! They've written all sorts of obscene language and crude pictures, and I know it's those damn youths.
I don't know. It could be the vicar at closing time.
I'm just worried they won't ever become productive members of the community. What if they never see the error of their ways and end up as social outcasts, such as shoplifters or bong rats?
Don't worry, Mrs. Craven. This is a very supportive community, and I'm sure that in time they will fit into this society like this key into this lock. See? Works like a charm.
What a lovely way to put it, Ray. And just like that, he can unlock their future.
Yes. Wow! Look at all the letters in my collection today.
Oh, I think that one's addressed to me.
What? This one? Oh, so you're right. Here it is.
It's a letter from my granddaughter, Brenda. She says she got an A on her maths exam because one of her friends has been helping her. She was always a team player, was our Brenda.
what's up, losers? Hey?
No! It's Brad! He's the coolest guy in the village.
That's right. I just got here on my motorbike.
Oh, clear off, Brad. We don't want any of your ilk around here.
What? Rad dudes?
No, ruffians. Have you come to tag the notice board with your gang signs?
No way. I've actually come to pin my resume on that notice board. I'm looking to do some tutoring after school.
What did you say? Tutoring?
That's right. Maths is very important. Would you mind, Ray?
Not at all.
So you, a young person, have been spending your time helping others and not just urinating on churches or huffing glue?
Hey, I haven't huffed glue for months.
Well, blow me down!
You know what? We misjudged you based on how young and cool you are and not on your actions.
No joy.
So it wasn't you who vandalised my shop last night or called me a rancid old crone from the back of a chopper?
No way. It can't have been me. I was too busy helping my friend Brenda with her maths homework.
Could you speak up there? I thought for a minute there that you said Brenda.
I did, you daft old sow.
Did you hear that, Ray?
Oh, yes, what a wonderful surprise. I now respect you as a man.
Put her there, Ray. Oh, what the heck? Give us a hug.
Sorry to interrupt the first groundbreaking episode of the notice board, but we are receiving some breaking news. I'm being told we are picking up reports from across the continent of what appear to be, what appear to be nuclear explosions in 4 major foreign cities. Initial estimates put the death toll into, they put them into millions. I'm being told we're experiencing some power shortages as a result, so apologies for the interruption. And apparently we can go live now to team headquarters for an emergency broadcast from Prime Minister Julia Salisbury any moment. Yes, let's go to that now.
Good evening, citizens and leaders of the world. Minutes ago, operatives working for Advance detonated nuclear explosives simultaneously in 4 major cities across the continent. We have similar devices in 58 other urban centres and will not hesitate to detonate them.
We are hearing stories of power fluctuations and what could be minor earthquakes throughout the continent. Stand by.
Unconditional surrender.
Seems to be resetting. Can we get this confirmed? Can we get this verified? I need this verified.
Borders. Your people are our people. They will finally be fed and clothed and educated and healed. But for your privileged few...
Right now, to our neighbours, this is unprecedented. Our government has committed multiple acts of mass destruction in our name.
One of our citizens, we will not hesitate to detonate further devices. You will not find them.
This can't be. We are awaiting further news and, oh, God. What if they respond?
We will expect your complete acceptance of our terms by midnight tonight. Thank you.
I don't really talk about my personal life in my job. It's not relevant or important. So many of you may be surprised to learn that I have a brother. His name is David. And right now, I can't get his stupid face out of my head. He's a researcher and he's currently traveling the continent for work. And I don't know where he is right now. And I should imagine that there are many of you sitting at home tonight digesting this news, and you also have loved ones on the continent, in Urkistan, or Havia, or San Palmerino, or which is where David was when I last spoke to him 3 days ago. So when I tell you I know how you are feeling tonight, believe me, I do. But I also know that there's a flow to events. I see it every day here. I know that although tonight it feels like we may be in a time of fear and darkness, we may actually be at the break of a new dawn. We don't know that yet. We can't know that yet, but together we will find out. And I will be here every night, feeling what you are feeling. And with your help, maybe we can all get to that brave new world. My name's Megan Wolf.
Hi, I'm Sophia Remington, and it takes more than an all-night yacht party to stop me from doing my job. Times are tough for you guys, huh? Sanctions suck, border the blockade, lost touch with the simple joy of consuming new and wonderfully unnecessary products. Well, look no further, you poor huddled masses. You need the Sophia Remington swag box from me, Sophia Remington. Remington's best, Remington's best.
Oh, blimey, Jazza. The old Market Square's looking a bit Somerset Bentley. Empty today.
I know, Bazza. I never thought I'd 5 a day say this, but I don't dog on a bike like shopping anymore. All the fun's gone.
I remember when there was all sorts of grandma's feet. Me here, I'd take it home for the old wasted life. Wife. The boil.
I just wish I could put some unlicensed gun fun back into being Grandpa's bloomers, consumers.
Don't worry, you poor dirty cockneys. Here's a little something to lift your barely literate spirits. This is a Sophia Remington swag box, and you never know what's in it until you break the seal and open it. Here. Who knows what you'll get? A piece of exotic fish, a rare weapon modifier, or even a handy set of 6 flards. And if you're not happy and you haven't broken the seal, you can even get a full no-quibble refund for just $50.99. It's fun, it's free, and it can't be gambling, otherwise we couldn't advertise it on television. I'm Sophia Remington, and I want you to have as much fun as I have, but you can't afford to. So here's the swag box instead.